Hello, it is time to start the show. And I'm going to get started right after this.
Hey folks, how we all doing tonight? I better not put that too low. But, so, it's Corey Davis 49er Wednesday, where we talk about the 49ers, the NFL, F the Rams, that's always what it's about. And, all this other good stuff. Today, we have an interesting topic. And let me bring in some folks. We got from the city that's named after him, David Corona. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man? How you doing?
From way back east in enemy territory, we got Izzy. What's cracking?
Hey, buddy. What up, Corona?
From the dark side of the moon, we got Kenny.
What's up, Ken?
He's muted. He's muted, and he still has like Brendan Ayuk's pissed off picture up there. That's kind of funny. Oh, there it is. But when I see the Florida man on camera, we'll bring him in. But so tonight, the topic is NFL player legal issues. I mean, we could go way back here. We don't just have to talk about it right now. Okay.
Right.
We could go way back to the the 90s Cowboys and their cocaine and all this other stuff that used to happen. Like, and that
I have a question.
I mean, here comes Levi. Here comes that Florida man that you see in all the videos and hear about in the news. We got Levi.
What's up, Levi?
Can I ask a question real quick before we get into this?
Sure.
Especially now that Levi's here. Are we at all covering the Chiefs and Andy Reid trying to not only once but twice cover up for his son's DUI and then try to have him still coach in the Super Bowl? And all that nonsense.
Demarcus Robinson isn't going to face any consequences either. It's just the NFL. I don't know so much.
So all I hear is if you get into a legal issue, contact somebody at the Chiefs organization for legal consultant advice.
As long as they're winning.
and they let you do whatever they want, right?
Just like when you were a New England Patriot, you could do whatever you want as long as you were winning.
As long as your name was Gronk.
That's right.
Wait, you mean Aaron Hernandez didn't get away with it?
Yo.
Not. I don't know if you've ever heard stories Gronk's told about his time in the Patriots, like literally partying all night, and they gave him a special key to the facility. So they would the trainers would walk into the office at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and Gronk would just be passed out on the table. And as he was passed out, they would put IVs in him to rehydrate him while he's unconscious. And he would just wake up from the dead, they would say, rip out the IVs, go out there and put up 3 touchdowns in practice.
Like a heroin.
He's a fucking legend. He's built different.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm telling you, some of the stories it's all like him and his teammates. Like Wes Welker, bro, I'm telling you, I've never seen Bill Belichick let anyone get away with the shit that Gronk was doing. But I love
That's crazy.
He was special.
Well, I mean, the NFL players have had legal issues going way back, and it's just a question of will a team put up with it? Like the Raiders, typically a guy gets arrested, for whatever, like some sort of violent crime or something like that. He gets, we all assume he's just going to be a Raider or something,
Raider or Bengal, destined.
That's right. Ooh. So Michael Irvin, Eric Williams, it says and others. It's not necessarily naming all the guys. Come on. Name them all. I want you to name them all. But yeah, the 90s Cowboys, they had some serious issues. Did they get suspended by the NFL?
I've heard some of the news stories coming out about Michael Irvin's time in Dallas. Like fucking basically like what stabbed one of his offensive linemen or something over a fight. Like
Just locker room stuff.
I'm trying to remember the story. I think I have it saved somewhere.
Wait, can I ask you guys a question? Was it the '90s Cowboys, or was it like a earlier Cowboys or later Cowboys where Jerry Jones got like fined because they found that special camera in the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders locker room that he covered up for all of his top executives, spying on them, showering and changing and stuff? Is that the '90s Cowboys, or was that like some other period?
Definitely the '90s Cowboys. Or well, I mean, they have a layer of scandals. I have the actual podcast where they're talking about the story I'm talking about with Irvin, though. I could play it, or I could watch it real quick and then summarize it for you, if you care for it.
Well, will I get hit with a strike if we play it?
I'm not sure on. It comes from All Things Comedy Channel. I mean, if we pause and talk about it. All right. Give me a minute.
Hi, Bebop.
What's cracking, buddy? We got David Corona.
Corona's in the chat.
Right. He's also in the chat.
Hey,
John J. What's going on, buddy?
What up, John Jay?
What's up, John Jay?
Who's the sixth guy? Oh, that's
I shared the story whenever. Yeah, it's a pretty wild story I came across.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, so they're on All Things Comedy. They're talking about these cows.
Where they trained, it was very hard to find someone who did black hair, which is a problem for any black kid growing up in America in a white town. You can't find a good barber. And they bring a barber in.
Mark, by the way, Kenny will like it. Delaware Blue Hen shirt. Just shout out to the Blue Hens.
And the Cowboys had a offensive lineman named Everett McIver who went to get his haircut. And Michael Irvin goes seniority. And Everett McIver, I think, was in his second year. All the offensive linemen are like, fuck that. Don't get up. Don't get.
Would you fight Michael Irvin if you were an offensive lineman? Let's start there.
If I was an offensive lineman?
Yeah, man, like you 300, like probably 6'3" minimum.
You know, you also hit the gym. I mean, it's like an NFL offensive lineman is no joke, even the guys that are slow. So yes, I 100% would.
I think that Michael Irvin is a fucking wide receiver, like you would think. But
Wait, Levi, didn't Geno Smith get his jaw broken by his offensive lineman? He's even nigged on that deal. So I don't think quarterback receiver matters as long as it's a dysfunctional franchise and there's like real animosity.
Seniority. And Everett McIver's like, fuck you. And he's refusing to get up. And they start getting a pushing match. And Michael Irvin grabs the barber scissors and stabs him in the neck.
Oh, wow.
And drags it along. And blood is spouting everywhere. And blah, blah, whole thing. It's a crazy scene. And Michael Irvin at the time was on probation. So if that had gotten out, he's going to jail. So the Cowboys never reported it, gave Everett McIver a nice payoff. Felt like you had a
So who knows if this alleged story is true?
That's crazy.
But
I never heard about that one in the news. The one I heard about in the news was him and I think it's Eric Williams were caught in a hotel with some coke, some pot, and a couple ladies from the oldest profession on the planet.
That stuff all comes with a hotel.
I've mentioned it. That Cowboys team, the one you're talking
That's
about
all
too.
inclusive.
Jerry Jones had too many of his players getting in trouble. You can Google this and find some facts on it. So one of the things that he did was he made the White House. He built this giant like house mansion thing across from like the practice facility, and it's where all the players would hang out. And there's a reason it's called the White House. Michael Irvin, like you said, the story, they were just caught with certain things, that may go up the nostril or so. And,
Powder?
Yeah, it was just a nonstop party house, and they kept them
you're talking
really
about Yayo?
close. Yeah, that Yayo. But they kept them close, right next to the practice facility so they could keep an eye on them, keep the cops away, and just look up the Cowboys White House.
Chad Schrader in the building. What's cracking?
What's up, Chad?
Chad.
What's up, Chad?
Evening, Don.
What's up, Don?
Is it doing that Crown Point stuff again? Daniel Barry.
What's up, Daniel Barry?
Is cocaine a drug?
What's up, buddy?
Cocaine's
Well, not according to Chris Carter, because that was the lifestyle.
It's a hell of a drug.
It's storming really bad here. Yes, I actually watched another lady, a Niner fan that lives in Philadelphia, talk about there was like a flash flood warning. She's like, I hope I put the emergency brake on in my car.
Oh, wow.
That's kind of funny.
That's why I left New Jersey, man. The weather's terrible.
She lives in Pennsylvania. We are not Pennsylvania. We are not New York.
Yeah, but the weather there is shit. And it's been for a long. That's why I moved here.
Hey, come over here. Come over here. Kenny, you'll love it.
I can't have 3 months out of my year all rainy and cold. Get the hell out of here.
Come to Florida. We have 2 seasons. Rain season and just sun and hot as fuck.
I just come to California.
I hate Florida.
We don't get that much rain.
I'm going to tell you this right now. It rained a couple days ago, but it is freaking blistering hot outside.
I can't remember the last time it rained.
And it is just, we got a dry spell going on. Like, yeah.
I saw it SoCal and Arizona.
That's all over here, too.
116, 117 fucking degree temps in SoCal and Arizona. Fucking
beautiful.
Wild.
My brother said it was 120 last weekend, 4th of July.
Yeah, he was in that area then. Is he in Southern
Arizona? No, he went to Arizona.
Oh, yeah. Fuck you. Fuck Arizona, dude. I've been there one time to go to the Grand Canyon. Fuck that place. It's beautiful, but fuck that place.
Middle of July here in Sacramento, it's 87 degrees.
Man.
You know that it barely ever gets under 85 here. Ever. It's wild.
That's crazy.
Levi, the one time I went to Florida hoping for warmth, I went down there. It was this crazy time of January. It was like 40 degrees down there while I was at Disney World. Disney World.
You got to go a little lower.
And then it was like 87 up here in New Jersey, where I live. It's like the weirdest like turnaround in weather ever.
Mid-Florida. If you come to just like SoCal, Southern Florida is different.
I know, but it was crazy because like my family was like rubbing in my face that I wouldn't need a sweater, I wouldn't need like jeans or anything, and I was like that cold, shivering, the humidity ass off. And they're having like a freaking summer in January here. It was like so crazy.
From someone that's traveled, that was one thing that was wild to me. Like when it gets cold in the south, like where it's humid, it's a bone chilling, just miserable cold. While when I was in the upper peninsula of Michigan, Yooper territory, and Marquette, basically in fucking Canada, it was like negative degrees, and I was out there in just like my dress shirt, and I was like, "This is kind of nice." Weirdly, like it's just like almost humid heat and dry heat in a sense.
You know what the craziest part was? It was the fog that was like rolling off those like heated pools. Mm-hmm. So you would like walk across like the hotel like yard to go to the buses and the food court, and it would like rattle your bones. Like even after you had like coffee or tea, it would just stay with you for like 2 hours.
Y'all get that ocean fog over there, don't you, Kenny? Like San Fran area, like
no, man, we don't get
ocean fog that rolls in.
We don't get rain. We don't get snow. We don't get cold. We don't.
The airport I worked at, Myrtle Beach, is like fucking 1,000 feet from the actual beach itself. So we actually sometimes get like ocean fog that would roll in. And before we had like big planes at that airport because they just did this huge expansion a while ago. It would cancel our flights in the morning because the small planes couldn't take off in the fog. But the big planes, when we got them finally, it was so wild to push back this plane with like 120 people on it. And like the moment I like disconnect the tug and like pull away 50 feet, I can't even see the plane anymore. And they've got instruments in that plane. And also the pilot has to have certain qualifications to work those instruments that allows them to take off with zero visibility in fog. And it's slightly scary, but slightly cool at the same time. Like, I miss all that stuff. Like watching, you never seen Paul until you've watched a fucking 737 come through a airstrip that's just had pollen sitting on it for like fucking 5 hours. It's wild to watch. Southern pollen.
You know, we occasionally get fog here in Utah, but we're at a high elevation, so it's kind of like when the clouds are low, we get fog.
Do you get hail there a lot?
Hail? Yes, but it's small.
Okay.
It's small. It's not like Colorado has areas where they're like
Oklahoma.
Colorado weather was pretty wild, but it was fun. But it was just...
But yeah, you know, speaking of the weather, what do you think the weather was like when Ray Lewis was riding in that limo and his buddy stabbed that guy?
Probably cold as hell.
Dark and cloudy.
It's Baltimore. It's always wet, dank, and kind of cold.
Gray.
Oh yeah. So Crazy Juice. Well, you know, I'm just bringing up some of the headlines everyone's heard about. There's all kinds of players that have gotten in trouble, but these are the big names, right? So Crazy Juice says there's a chance we make the playoffs because Adam Rank, who I also think is a bozo, predicted us to have a mediocre record.
10 games minimum we win.
That's crazy.
Was this the guy that predicted us to go 3-13 in 2019?
Yep.
Is this that guy?
He's like a obnoxious diehard Bears fan that gets these ultra psychotic takes that take off and go all over YouTube because no one's actually watching the NFL Network anymore. So he brings in ratings and gets them talked about.
From Daly City, we got John Jay.
He has losing to the Rams twice, to the Buccaneers, to the Bears.
The Buccaneers.
Didn't he also have the Bears like 15-2 last year with Caleb Williams in his first year?
Something like that, 15-2.
And like the only reason he gave them 2 losses was because he knew that there's no way he was going to sweep the Packers or something because they barely ever beat the Packers.
This guy's first name isn't Michael, is it?
Who?
Like this.
Me and Michael, we got a bet on that game.
Do we play the Buccaneers?
Did you make
early
a preseason bet? I told him I'm not doing that anymore because we had a horrible season, but we still won the game, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, we bet it before the season. He said if he gets that coach from the Lions, and they did, we got 5-0.
Kenny, from what I heard about Tristan Wirfs, it sounded like they were trying to wait on his injury, and then they had to force the surgery because it wasn't responding.
Yeah, he's going to miss at least 6 games, maybe the first half of the season. So I was wondering when we played the Buccaneers.
Apparently,
but didn't they sign our swing tackle
at one point in the
No, it was Kansas City, I think.
I think we played the Buccaneers almost to the end, like the Bears.
Well, Wirfs will be back then, but I still think they're taking a step back this year, Tampa, because they lost.
I say we go 12-4 maybe.
That would be nice. I think we win at least 10. Hopefully we win 11.
5. There's 17 games.
Oh, 11-4. 12-4 is too much, right?
I think
it'd be 11
I
and
honestly
6.
think our floor is like 11.
I say we get
our ceiling's probably
12.
around 14. That's
a lot of games.
I am not making a prediction because every single time I do, I get disappointed, and then I have to deal with all the crazies. So I'm just gonna hope for the best.
I can't wait when D'Amico comes back to Levi when we play the Houston.
By the way, Kenny, I don't know if you saw Cam Ward recently talking about my boy Calvin, who I took in the fantasy draft, and I was telling you I feel like he's gonna be that guy. He was hyping him up. He's like, I'm telling you, I've seen a lot of guys and that boy different. I'm excited to see if it actually Tennessee performs this year.
I hope the Titans beat the Rams week 2.
Who knows, man?
I might go to the week 5 Thursday night against the Rams in our second house.
I thought about Baltimore plays Miami this year, and that's about maybe like 2.5 hour drive for me to go to Hard Rock Stadium. Thought about it, but
there's a Hard Rock.
It's just not worth the money.
I have to go at least one time at SoFi.
David's going.
Oh, that would be cool to go to SoFi though. Hard Rock was bleh.
I'll probably get jump over there.
SoFly.
Legitimately, Carolina Panthers preseason game had better tailgating than the Miami Dolphins regular season game. Fight me,
I'm going all out. I'm gonna go all Niners out.
Yo, Miami.
But Levi, if you listen to Terradome, the Beltway fans, you don't mess with them. They're like diehard for the teams, no matter what happens.
And the Browns too, no?
Panther fans are a little wishy-washy, but they love a good tailgate.
Oh, hell yeah.
No North Carolinian's gonna pass up a good tailgate or barbecue.
I think I have two browsers on this computer. I think the one's messing with the other one. So I have
What was it? I joked,
that.
Melissa, that a few years ago when the tickets for the Panthers were so cheap, they were like literally single-digit dollars for the regular season.
I remember that.
Jokingly, like, man, I just need to pay a bunch of people from Craigslist to go buy tickets to the game and like hold up your signs for your business.
They played.
Was it $2? Was it $2?
It
was like legit like $2. Yeah,
that's crazy.
The one game was so bad they were actually begging people to buy tickets, not like just like on the nosebleeds, but like
I think it was like
further down the stadium for like $7.50. And people were saying that would be easier than to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for one ad on TV.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
I wish the 49ers and the Rams are like $7.
You just
no way. Los Angeles has to pay all their players.
Yeah, but
so hey,
Levi,
remember,
as bad as Panther fans are, I don't think I've ever heard of any franchise where it got so bad and so petty and so pathetic that the super fan quit, and then they had to like try to replace them like 3 times until they had to pay back the super fan to come to all their games because the morale was so bad. Like Fireman Ed with the Jets. Like they literally fly this guy out to games now because
I think there's a common
they're
thing.
so
Bad owners of the team, like Jets, bad owner, Panthers, bad owner, like
Browns.
I mean, pretty bad owner. He's had a hit, and then they fucked Baker Mayfield, and they got their karma. That's basically what happened. They took a good Baker Mayfield, spit in his face, and they got a Deshaun Watson for it.
But I just want to say the only reason Baker Mayfield is even being talked about right now is because of Liam Cohen. I just want everyone to know that.
And Mike Evans and Marquise Goodwin.
And Tristan Wirfs being injured.
Like having Chase and Wiggins in a sense, but just different style receivers. More like a Justin Jefferson and what's the other kid the Vikings took in the first round? That's pretty good.
Last year?
I think it was last year. It was last year or the year before. Wide receiver, first round, they took him. Was Michigan.
Jordan Addison?
Yes, thank you, Jordan Addison. Thank you.
Addie.
From USC and I believe Pitt.
Yeah, pretty good wide receiver. So it's kind of like having Jordan Addison and
I forgot
Justin
Addison
Jefferson.
was a rookie last year. I didn't even
Like I said, I think last year was his second year.
I think it was the second, but I understand.
Yeah. His first year, I think he had some injuries.
Well, so back to the subject, guys.
Sorry.
No, we're all right. This is what the show's
Hold on.
about.
Can I
We
actually
talk
say
about
one
everything,
final thing?
folks.
I'm
Okay.
so sorry. Can I say one final thing? I don't know if
Go for
anyone
it.
said it yet. We can officially say, guys, we have 0 months till football. I don't know if y'all saw the Hall of Fame game is the earliest I've ever seen it.
July 31st.
Yes, sir. July 31st. We have 0 months till football starts, ladies and gentlemen. I'm proud.
Heck yeah.
Like less than 8 to 10 days after the camp actually gets going and ramps up.
The Ravens haven't even started releasing their off-season tickets yet for training camp. It's on the 11th. It's wild.
I know our rookies report on the 15th, and our veterans, well, they can report during that camp, but they're required to report by the 22nd.
Can I piggyback on Levi's thing and then it'll tie back into the main topic?
Okay.
I was so looking. You all know how much I hate the Packers. I was so looking forward to the Hall of Fame game this year because I've been dying to see Sterling Shepard get into the Hall. But now with all this legal shit with his brother, there's not one part of me that actually wants to watch that ceremony anymore.
Sterling
Why?
Sharp.
Who's playing that day?
I don't know who's playing. I don't know anything else. All I know is I know Shannon's going to be there, and I don't want to see anything to do with Shannon Sharp right now. I don't want to see Shannon. I don't want to see Stephen A. I don't want to see Chad Ochocinco. Like, it's spoiled something I've been waiting decades for a team I hate because of a player I think that was long overlooked, and it's just it breaks my heart that all that shit is now spoiling this like momentous occasion that's supposed to happen at the end of the month.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So back to the subject. I was going to bring up this one tight end that played for the Patriots. You know, rest in peace, but Aaron Hernandez. Okay. All the talent in the world. All right. But he had issues. He had issues, and he did not seek help, folks.
I blame Joe Biden.
I mean, what he did was he was arrested for the murder of Odin Floyd, who was dating his fiance's sister. And, you know, during everything that happened, yes, he got convicted, and he ended up, I believe, taking his own life.
I think he hanged himself, no?
Yes, that's what I was trying to say it the nice way. But yeah.
Oh, sorry about that.
In prison.
He unalived him.
So
it was Mr. Guard with the rope in the jail cell.
Now,
I thought we were playing Clue. I thought we were playing Clue.
The conspiracy theories that we never know, right?
Oh, no, that's deleting the footage, Guard in the jail cell.
Yeah, but you know, they do that every night at the same time, and isn't that a coincidence that that's when that happened? Not the
Did they
right
release
show.
footage of it?
Not the right show.
Sorry, we got
Wrong
derailed. I made it joke and we got derailed.
I brought it up on my bad. Prisons are shady.
That's crazy. I seen that happen in the county.
Well, I mean, maybe he just didn't want to spend the rest of his life that way, right?
Yeah,
could be the case. But either way, he had issues, and he did not get help.
Maybe Jack Reacher was his cellmate, and he mouthed off to him.
I mean, well, here's the thing. He was involved in gang activities, actively still involved in gang activities.
I thought he was a sweet boy.
And, you know, maybe he knew that they didn't trust him in jail, and they weren't even going to take a chance at him saying nothing. Like, you know what I mean? Like cutting a deal with, you know, some of the other people that might have been there, how they got, you know.
People die in jail. People die in jail all the time.
They do. So speaking of jail, so a Raiders wide receiver, which this should be no surprise, named Henry Ruggs, who was one of the top 3 prospects according to a lot of sites in that draft, was driving his Corvette extremely fast, hit a car, killed a lady and her dog.
Unalived.
That sucks. That's messed up.
The dog
forcefully moved to pass on.
Yes, that's it.
That's his fault where he's at right now.
It is. But it's like, and wasn't he drunk at the time?
Yes.
They said he blew like a 3.2 alcohol or something or higher.
The limit, yeah.
Supposedly, his
Did he run a red light too on top of all of that?
A red light too. Yep.
It was a residential area. His headlights weren't on. He was speeding at 125 miles per hour. He clipped the car. He drove off, and then all these people heard her car smash, and people woke up at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and they were rushing out to try to help her. And they all had to listen to her slowly die and go up in flames. While him and his girlfriend walked away scot-free. I would think maybe his girlfriend got like a few like cuts on her arms because the window got smashed in, but he got nothing and everybody else suffered.
That's how the devil works.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what? It felt like a lot like that Ray Rice thing, where I don't think it would have been as severe as a punishment by the league and the media if the video didn't go viral.
Say it louder, for real.
That's it. Yeah, that's tough.
Honestly, if I just
same
get
thing with the Ray
signed,
Rice situation.
if I just get signed to like this contract, and
That's
I'm gonna
no
be a
shit on you,
superstar-
Levi, or your fan base.
No. That's what I'm saying. Say it louder. It's exactly correct what you're saying. Like 100%.
That kid just gets
And he
signed.
hit somebody in the elevator. That's what happened, Levi?
He hit his wife in the elevator, bro. Straight socked her. Like,
So they were having a
that's crazy.
fight,
Wait,
and
but
then
it was
he
his wife.
cold cocks her right in the face.
dragging her
She
body out of the elevator
slams
and
down
shit.
on the elevator. Then her head gets stuck in the door, and the door's like jamming against her hair and her head. And he drags her by her hair across the hallway while they were engaged.
Well, hold on a second. Hold on. They took vows.
And actually, like, caught him in that.
Yeah, after this happened before they were married. And
Like people like that, they should
some
if
asshole
they
have
hit
bought the
women,
footage.
pick on us.
Some asshole have
sold
bought
it
the
to TMZ,
footage,
I think. Yep.
and then they decided to release it when it was the end of his career, and they were trying to make a deal off like TMZ and all these different publications, and then they just released it, and then it just like blew up everywhere.
I'm glad they released it.
Yep.
Glad.
I remember that. It was all.
I definitely remember.
And that's
the
what I'm
Ray
saying.
Rice
There was someone
situation.
outside
That's
that
kinda hard to
elevator. So,
forget.
like, can you imagine if
I
someone
know,
hadn't
so-
been there and he'd have tried to like actually sneak away with her?
That
like,
was a long time ago, though.
it would have taken
cared
even
about
longer for that.
What's
to
up, Dante?
If you saw the footage, like if you just saw that footage, you're like, someone had to release that, and it was in an elevator, so you have to think about that.
World Star. What? Wait, wasn't it actually World Star, not TMZ?
It was security guard.
Star.
Somebody.
But you know what the crazy part is? Like, it took them 10 years to release that video. Like, someone actually bid their time, and were they getting like hush money all those years while he was still being a performer and like at a high level for the Ravens, and then they finally got cut off from their payday?
Weren't married. They weren't married. It came out like that, like several weeks later, or like in that week, I think. They just weren't married, and then they resolved their issues and got married afterwards. It didn't take like 10 years for that to come out.
It's just crazy.
So people like that, if they want to hit women, like they should do that to us instead of doing that to girls. You know what I mean? But they can't.
I think she ended up supposedly slapping and clawing at him, but no matter, at the end of the day, dude, you are a grown fucking man and an athlete. Like, you don't. If woman's hitting you, leave. Just fucking leave. It's as simple as that. Like I said, what he did was fucking horrific.
Mm-hmm.
It is, and I think he got off lightly.
The truth.
Even though his fucking career got ended, I think he got off lightly.
I know, because I remember when the footage came out, there were people who were defending what happened. And the only reason why I want to bring this up is there's always two sides of the story. We don't know what happened that led to that serious altercation, but at the end of the day, if you hit another person, man, female, whatever, if you hit somebody else and you hurt them badly, you are a douchebag. Why do you have to hurt somebody that?
We ain't kids, man. Like, kids swing, adults talk.
I'm not gonna debate, because there's people who still debate. But again, if you hurt somebody, you're an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Girls punch, boys stab.
Do unto others as you wish done unto you. It's as simple as that, man. And if you hit a woman, I hope some giant fucking man just.
But what if it was Ronda Rousey? What if it was Ronda Rousey though?
Hey, Levi, wasn't there like a incident at the Pro Bowl a couple of years ago? They were like in Vegas, and they were all like drunk off their asses or something, and then they were like picking on this one guy, and they like beat down this one guy in an elevator.
I have no clue. I've lost.
It was like a bunch of receivers, I think.
Like Kareem Hunt kicking the fucking girl in the hotel. Like,
That's
I
why
know.
always
I
have
know
to
what you're
ask-
talking about, though. There was another incident where, they jumped someone in a fucking hotel. Like,
Yeah.
That's why you always have to act.
That's
like
why they
someone's
moved it
watching
down
that.
to Miami or something because they were like, we're not gonna keep doing this in Vegas and everything else.
the NFL just didn't want to foot the bill anymore, just like with
Well,
Hawaii.
so Steve-O says that Henry Ruggs is currently doing yard work at the Governor Mansion for like $2 an
No,
hour.
he'll be a Niner.
Oh wow, that's a joke.
We need wide receivers.
Big Niner.
No, we don't.
Big
He's
Niner,
working
I
on
don't
his
know if
hands.
you saw Don.
Well, the
We
truth,
have
we're talking
Jacob
about
Cowing,
we're
for
talking
Christ's
about legal trouble and
Kenny-
NFL players.
According to the great and powerful, wise Niner faithful who cover this on many a platform, our prayers have been answered because we have Isaiah Hodgins. We
No.
don't need anybody else.
We have one wide receiver. His name's Jawan Jennings.
Don't get me started. 'Cause I don't
anyway.
know.
Fight tonight.
So I would like to take a moment to shout out our good friend Dodd Dodds. I don't know if you missed the comment, but she's now entering, I think, 3 years partnership in the podcast. So
Yay!
Happy anniversary! Happy anniversary! Happy anniversary!
happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary!
We love Dawn.
shout out to her.
We love the Dodsons.
Let's change gears and go at our guys.
Was
All
that
right,
a
we all
Henry
know
Ruggs
about
joke?
Alden Smith, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe we shouldn't have drafted him that high. You know, he was good for us when he was on the field, but then he had legal issues and we had to cut ties with him.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And he even ended up like suspended by the league for a very long time.
I think a whole year, no?
I think he got suspended like during the season. I might not remember this right, but like late in the season or something, and then he got suspended the whole next year, and then he was like out of the league for a minute.
Are we talking about
Yeah.
Alden Smith?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't it an indefinite suspension when he was a Raider because that was like his third penalty with guns and gun ownership?
So.
Even the Cowboys
And they were
too.
like,
Josh Cribbs, but less drugs.
So basically,
Or not
when
Josh
he was
Cribbs.
when he was on the Niner, he was a menace on the field, and he was a Harbaugh guy because Harbaugh really liked him.
Harbaugh's in the news.
Harbaugh knew about his character issues. One thing about Harbaugh, he knows how he covers stuff up, but that's beyond the point that we're talking about. But when he went to the Raiders suspended him for an entire season, and the Raiders don't do that, which is kind of hilarious. And it was like, why the hell did you sign him if he's not going to play with you for a year? So he made money not to do nothing. And then he went on the field, played really well, and then again pissed off the Raiders, and he was thrown out of Oakland. That's how bad of a person he was when the Raiders.
I think Cowboys picked him out after that.
That was such an incredibly talented edge draft. I remember that.
The Cowboys picked him up, I think, what was it, 2019? 2018? It was one of those years. And then he was there for like a year or half a year, and then he was picked up by the Seattle Seahawks, and then he went into obscurity with, what's his face? The first overall pick by Houston years ago, I think Clowney. So it was like Clowney and Alden Smith were together on the Seahawks. Somehow the Niners still got swept by the Seahawks that year.
Von Miller was in that draft. J.J. Watt was in that draft.
We have a Russell
Robert
Wilson
Quinn.
problem, not a Seattle problem.
No, but it was like 2020 or 2021. The two of them were together on the Seahawks, and everybody thought it was going to be like the year that at least we would split or break it and win both games, and it just never happened. And it was just like one of those weird things. You know who actually shocked me, and maybe you guys knew better because you're in California or on the West Coast. The one that shocked me was Bruce Miller. I loved Bruce Miller, and then just like out of nowhere, you found out all the crazy shit he was doing to people.
West Coast.
Worst. That's my son.
It's Tupac. We're back in the West
and
Coast.
then, you know,
The West
you
is the
keep
best.
going with Niners that got in trouble. We got this guy, Reuben Foster, domestic
Oh
violence.
yeah, another one.
Lubin.
He was a guy we traded back into the first round to draft.
Yep.
Right. And we drafted him ahead of a guy that's currently on the team. But then he got the domestic violence, and the Niners said, "Nope, we're just letting you go."
He was a beast too, man.
I
The
mean,
Niners are like the Democrats. That's why they always lose.
So years later,
both strong and
Charles Omenihu got in some trouble, but then it turned out to be he wasn't really in trouble, but the Niners chose not to bring him back, right?
Man,
They got principles.
Yeah, so
I can tell you why there's so many issues, but go ahead, John Jay. Sorry.
Before Reuben Foster was ever drafted, he was supposed to be a top 5 pick because that's how good he was. What happened was when he went to the combine, he basically threw a hissy fit and sucker punched one of the scouts, and he got kicked out of the venue. And so he was dropping. Because of that incident, nobody wanted to draft him. The Niners were like, you know what? Let's pick him up. And I keep saying this as a joke. When you go to Tampa Bay, your season's already over. I think we're 2-8 at that point. Nick Mullins is the quarterback. Okay. Again, I love my team. I know what happens. And before the game starts, before like the broadcast, Reuben Foster has been cut by the Niners. All right, let's kick off. That was hilarious. And then they went back on the plane back to San Francisco, and they left him at the stadium. John Lynch was like, "Oh yeah, we left him. We're not gonna lie about it. He did it in the most nicest way, but he was like, hey, we left you. We did not want you. Get the hell out." So
I thought he got locked in the bathroom.
So, like I said,
who locked him in there?
I know, and the Niners when I remember when they drafted, we were surprised that nobody drafted him, and so that's why we traded up. Because again, and even the scouts were like, I know about the incident, but he's a great player. Even Nick Saban was like, I don't know why I know he had some character issues in Alabama, yada yada. So
I can explain
why
the NFL has so many more issues with this than I feel like any other professional sports league.
You mad, bro?
And it's the dark side of scouting in a certain sense. It's almost something they don't like to talk about, but every once in a while you'll hear the story. Because the best players are young men that overcome adversity and harsh conditions. And I'm going to give a perfect example here. The greatest years of the U, the bad boys of the U. The U scouts and coaches leaned into this more than anything, going to the most urban areas throughout, basically from Orlando down. They fucking drew a line halfway through the state and they dominated everything in the state. And they went, like I said, to the urban parts around Miami. And that's why, again, a lot of those guys, like, I don't know if you've ever seen the U documentary. It's pretty wild.
You talking about Ohio State?
No, he's talking about Miami.
Miami, the U, bro.
It's a good one. Yeah,
he's trolling me though.
The Ohio State.
But I mean, Urban Meyer, he's got an argument there. You can go back to Florida for that one.
I know, yeah. Like if you haven't seen it, it is a great documentary. How they blew up their program. Well. They blew up their program twice. First, it was the U Part 1, and then the U Part 2, basically.
Oh, beautiful document. Like John Jay said, they're actually great. I only just recently watched them myself. Like I
got a friend who went to Miami. He was very smart from high school, and he went at the end of that stuff, and no top football from high school or transfers wanted to go there. Like they were so scared. And so
they were.
Built the program, and they copied the same way that certain like high educated.
They went like the BYU route, honor codes.
Yeah,
like, not quite
that's
honor
what they
codes,
did.
But like,
and then I forgot who was the coach. It's too bad Terradome's not here because he's the U fan. They brought in a guy. He changed the program. They were very good.
Wasn't the old Cowboys guy? Future Cowboy guy?
No.
Jerry?
No.
Jimmy Johnson. No.
So
Anyway,
yeah,
sorry.
I know.
Yeah,
So
it's
basically like in 09, 2010, he went out there. Nobody wanted to go there. And then a coach like in the mid 2010s will fix up the program. He was a former student who didn't play sports. He really changed the program. But yeah.
Yeah, and that's why the NFL sees these problems because, like if you ever listen to Ray Lewis's speeches, man, childhood was rough in a certain sense. And what was the old running back from Oklahoma? Not is it Bud Dupree? I'm thinking of
for Miami.
No, he ended up I think playing at Oklahoma. No, not Bud Dupree. Who am I thinking of? Ended up having a horrible head injury. He was absolutely insane. Oh, gosh, I'm gonna look it up now. But he used to just sit there and get cinder blocks and put them on, fucking sticks and lift.
I know, like Frank Gore, when he retired with the Niners, when he officially retired, a video was there. He's like I'm so thankful that the 49ers, because nobody wanted to draft me because of my knee, and look what they have done for my family, because I came from nothing. And he, I think, like is like an consultant for the team. So yeah, Frank Gore, like, yeah, that dude, with his adversity, especially when he grew up in those slums in Miami. And so he remembers those days. And so that's why he was so cold-blooded when he played on every Sunday.
Marcus Dupree, that's who I was thinking of.
I wish I didn't have to sell my Frank Gore jersey. I really liked him during those tough times when you were a Niner fan.
What?
He always murdered the Rams, so I was always happy.
Coming out of high school, junior year, he left 550 yards. Senior year went almost for 3,000 rushing yards. He was one of those ones they were trying to bribe him left and right. He went to Oklahoma. He looked like he was going to be like the next Barry Sanders. Well, not really, but just stronger. And at Oklahoma, he ended up getting like a crazy concussion. And like I think there's video of him like he walked into the other team's huddle at one point, like, and he still kept trying to run the ball. And he's a case of CTE where it derailed his rifle. I think ESPN did a 30 for 30 on him.
CTE, like Junior Seau, shout out to him, great guy. But he had CTE. I think he didn't he end up taking his own life?
I think so.
I think so too. Yeah.
I mean, it's sad, got like the NFL players, they're pushed hard to actually be on the field. They'll push themselves. And, they'll get a concussion during the game, but then will ignore the symptoms and keep playing because they want to be on the field. They don't want to be this guy like Jimmy Ward. Late in his career wasn't bad, but at first, what did we all call him? Jimmy Hospital Ward. Okay, that's what we called him because he wasn't on the field.
Butterfingers too.
No, that was Tart.
Oh.
Can I ask Levi a question about, well, not this, but actually about his own division and how that stuff was handled? Because I think an AFC North fan could probably answer this better than anybody else can. But I don't understand how Josh Gordon had as many violations as he did with the drug policy, right? But that first time that Antonio Brown was found out for the crazy shit that he had been doing all along as a Steeler, or when the stuff came out about against the Ravens or whatever, or even Fonta's perfect. I don't understand how the Ohio team seemed to get multiple passes for their players before things got cracked down, but then the rest of your division always got penalized right away. I never understood that about your division.
Smoking weed's different, man. It's
No, I'm not saying
they've actually
cars are the same. I don't understand why Perfect
Weed
and Gordon seem to always like be able to.
Well, Perfect was given
because
CTE, like intentionally
because
injuring
they were non-competitive and they were in Ohio, or because like you guys were part of the Black and Blue rivalry with the Steelers and the Ravens, so they took you guys more seriously. Like I don't understand from that kind of error why that happened that way like that.
I would just argue the nature of the violations are highly different, and the NFL has relaxed their drug policy significantly. And in the NBA, it's near non-existent. NBA players talk about it all the time, how much they smoke now. So the NBA secretly got rid of THC off the drug policy, but they just didn't really say much about it, I don't think.
I don't think it should be on anybody's, but I don't even smoke it, folks. Okay, I did. I did a long time ago.
30 years in a row, and I'll tell you right now, there's a big. It does change your personality.
Even as a smoker, I personally agree with certain federal, in a sense. Like case in point, I think the DOT should be able to mandate it. As much as I love it, I still don't want my pilot on it going through his pre-checks in a certain sense. I also believe though in his free time he should be able to do whatever the fuck he wants also, but it's a hard line to walk unless there's
No, the team invested a lot into that guy. They don't want him fucking around.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, are we talking about Ricky Williams? Now, Levi.
I thought Dave Chappelle.
So, like DOT, I have to agree with that. I don't want a trucker pulling 80,000 pounds,
doing 12 hours on the interstate. 12 hours.
Yeah, that's kind of scary.
Bit certain things. Every company and maybe like federal contractors in a certain sense, but I definitely think a lot of places need to relax there. Like I'll tell you this, like as someone I have a medical card. I've had a medical card for almost 10 years now between Colorado and Florida.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with you, Levi.
You don't know anything about me, homie.
We hear about you for hours every day. What are you talking about?
You don't know nothing about me.
Weed ain't gonna help that then. Weed doesn't help that.
Personally, like even back to my days before I had a medical card when it wasn't legal, like I don't like doing certain work activities while under the influence. You
don't want to do anything important under the influence.
It subtract away from my performance. But I'm telling you, like, if I'm digging a ditch all day out in the fucking heat, fuck you, dude. Smoke as many bowls as you want to that day.
Yeah, but it raises your blood pressure and it gives you inflammation. You don't want to be doing that when you're working hard.
Inflammation, controversial, and the important part with that blood pressure is to increase your CBD side of it. He is right. THC does increase your blood pressure. It's also why you feel that paranoia because you're basically the THC is increasing your blood pressure while the CBD is trying to decrease your blood pressure.
It increases
especially if you smoke a strain that has
increases your risk of heart, stroke, heart
anything
attack.
that increases your blood pressure does. Coffee does the same thing.
Now, shouldn't have any THC or caffeine or nicotine. None of that shit.
THC and caffeine actually enhance each other.
Now, Steve-O, this is something you need to put up on YouTube if you actually, end up racing him.
He's 325. Hey, man, he might be Dante Poe, bro.
We're talking about. I honestly don't think it.
That's what I'm saying, Spongy.
If you have an important job, people's lives are in your hand. Okay, maybe you should be testing, but the majority of the public doesn't. Like I have a DOT card, okay, and yes, I drive a heavy truck, not necessarily air brakes. It's not a full-on CDL. And I'll be cruising down the road 75 miles an hour with, between the truck and trailer, somewhere around 23,000 pounds. Okay. So yeah, if you do that for a living, you probably should be sober. Okay. At least while you're doing it.
Here's where the difference comes. You're talking about what Levi's talking about. He's been smoking for 30 years in a row. So he doesn't get hot.
By the way.
He doesn't get hot. But you're talking about some trucker who rarely smokes and then takes a bat to the head. Yeah, no, he shouldn't be doing that shit because If you smoke every day 10 times a day, you're not going to feel shit. If you smoke once in a while, that shit's going to affect.
Yeah, if you do smoke 10 times a day, you're definitely going to need.
I mean, that's the difference. So if you smoke
when
all
I
the
used
time,
to do it,
day
I had
and
to smoke
night,
all
Like I
night.
said, my view on it is you treat it like a glass of wine, or case in point, if you take a painkiller, you are not allowed to go to work in most situations. Same thing.
Yeah,
You
the whole
can't take
operating
something that
machinery
a
thing,
narcotic
kind of.
style painkiller, which is anything that most people take other than Tylenol, Tramadol.
new sponsor, Cram It All.
Cram it all
not
in.
sponsored YouTube,
One
not
show.
sponsored.
Cram it all. For when you got a lot to do but no time, take a Cram It All. It's speed mixed with cannabis.
Right under this, people that bought Tramadol also bought 30-ounce jar of lube.
Water-based.
Be considerate. Be considerate.
Water-based.
Yeah, water-based.
We don't want that
What are we
silicone-based
talking
shit.
about?
You know there's no baby oil in the store anymore.
Oh,
They've been bought out. Freak-offs are on again.
I know Diddy's coming out, man. But get your baby
Freak-offs
oil
are
now.
back.
Buy stock in Johnson & Johnson.
Arsenio Hall already called me. We're going to the next
Sorry,
freak-off
David.
together.
Sorry.
Oh, jeez. Hey, he actually got off the hook.
He's got
Yep.
money.
Well, you get the right lawyer, right?
You need to get the right lawyer. You need a lot of money.
It's extremely odd that two jurors all of a sudden went full crazy and they had to get rid of them. Wow, it seems like almost someone might have been threatening them or their families to.
What?
No one would ever do anything like that, and I definitely agree with the justice system and the justice that came out. I don't want.
No, you're talking about the other one. That's the other guy. The P
I don't want
guy
to be
was R.
abducted in
Kelly.
his sleep.
R. Kelly was the P guy.
Oh, jeez.
It's the remix to Ignition. Or what was that called?
But yeah, another guy we didn't talk about though. We're on the subject. Let's talk about Ricky Williams. He got in trouble with the league for smoking pot. Right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
We had a couple Kansas City Chiefs
He left
last offseason.
That's when you have an issue. Like
last offseason.
Before 2024.
They got caught with weed. I don't think they saw.
I love when he came back to my brain.
Did they even see any sort of punishment from I don't think they saw anything from the NFL. Right?
I think it was an undisclosed sort of low-key punishment.
But now we have Turpin, the wide receiver.
The
wide receiver, though, for the Cowboys, got caught. This is the latest.
Oh,
and
yeah, Turpin.
It's like NFL, dude. Do you really care? I wouldn't. He's not operating heavy machinery.
No, but he's a role model to children.
He's not driving down the road with 20,000 plus pounds. He's not flying a plane with 300 people's lives in his hands.
Yep. It does have certain pain reduction qualities. Now, I would argue that they are pretty fucking minimal.
Mm-hmm.
But there is anti-inflammation properties to it as well. That the thing is the argument is that they can take less actual, because we know the NFL had a huge oxy problem for a long time. A lot of NFL players took their own lives shortly after that era, where they would just inject them and give them pills left and right. Now they talk about in the NFLPA, and which is why a lot of them are trying to relax the policies on it. And I'm telling you, as someone that watched friends go through pills and shit, pills will change your mind forever. And
so when it comes to the NFL's legal policies on how they suspend, it is so biased, horrible. And I want to bring up a case that I don't know if anybody wide receiver Dante Stallworth was in Miami driving his expensive car, and he was convicted on manslaughter, while it was not his fault of what happened, because a person jumped in front of his car on a freeway. He still caused a death of a person. He went to court. The court system said because it was manslaughter, it was his first ever offense, they gave him a light sentence. The NFL was like, we ain't gonna do nothing. They suspended him. Then the team suspended him. Basically, he technically didn't play for 1 year. And he came back playing football again. While he was not a star wide receiver, it really shows you. And then you had that wide receiver that was with the Browns, and he bounced around a bunch of teams. He kept getting suspended for smoking weed. And the NFL was giving him super harsh penalties. And it really shows you how the NFL, and that's why I have no respect for Roger Goodell. Like, you are so inconsistent when it comes to
bad for the old players, man.
And so, and then I understand people don't like gambling. You give that wide receiver from Atlanta an entire year for gambling. While I know gambling at the time became legal when he was playing, the NFL is BS when it comes to that. And I will never, ever, ever be like, hey, if you are going to give out you better. And then, of course, I don't want to bring this up because some people still have a lot of PTSD. Deshaun Watson went to court multiple times for what happened. Okay. The NFL gave him like a small suspension. He technically didn't play for a year because the Texas, he went to Cleveland, got paid an exorbitant amount of money. Make that make sense.
That's why they don't want guaranteed contracts anymore.
So,
yeah. I want to mention this too, like with how they used to do things like with the pills and stuff. One of the other things they used to do, they used to give you cortisone shots all the time, man. Give him a cortisone shot in the knee, get him back in the game. Give him a cortisone shot in the ankle. He won't feel nothing.
Give him 2.
And exactly, they used to load them.
I used to get those on my back.
Exactly.
Even though it doesn't make sense.
Now, don't get me wrong, it's a fucking miracle drug. I've had the shots in my knees, but. From studying it, they now don't use usually use cortisone. They use a derivative like benazone, or they make all these derivatives of it. And it's because that shit is actually bad for your joints long term, especially the pure cortisone that they used to use. And those multiple injections are what destroyed all of their fucking joints and led to, so you hear these horror stories like I had fucking 20 surgeries in my career, to keep it going, and that's all part of that, man. So I feel bad for that old generation. At least they know better now.
And they got paid nothing.
Two things real quick.
I think they get the settlement, but probably not.
Levi,
I used to get 2 on top, 2 in the middle, and 2 all the way in the bottom. I used to get like 6 of them.
And how often did you get them?
Every 6 months.
Fuck, dude, that's the absolute earliest you can get those shits. Is every 6 months. They don't want you usually to have them more than once a year. Yeah, I'll tell you that the effects wear off after about 6 months generally.
916 Niner, thanks for showing up. I don't remember seeing you before, but if you want to subscribe, please do. I'm only at 205.
Hey, wait, Levi, was the cortisone shot what they try to put in that Bill's former quarterback that caused Justin Herbert to come in and play right away? They try to stick him right in the ribs, and then they got him in the lung instead.
Yes, it was exactly that type of drug. And if you've ever got him, I know Corona said he got him in his back. I got mine in my knee.
I think it was Tyrod Taylor was the quarterback. He was starting for the Chargers, and then they pierced his lung.
The reason that he pierced his lung, so when you get these type of shots, generally, I don't know if Corona's was the same as mine, they get an ultrasound machine so that they rub the gel on so they can truly see everything as it goes in. And the needle is fucking super long. It's terrifying.
You can see it on the camera where they put it in at, and they put some gel in.
All the way down to the middle of wherever that joint is. They have to insert it right there, basically it makes it so your nerve doesn't relay the pain. Basically, it's an amazing drug. Don't get me wrong.
So that's why they do it. That's why they do it like that.
Dude, it's dangerous. Yeah, they could hit something and really fuck you up. Melissa is saying,
I don't get shots no more. I'm done with those.
Even to his rib or something, which the rib, the inner, what is it? There's something inner cartilage in between the ribs. Trying to get in that shit is fucking ridiculous.
So it's his third rib, either from the top or the bottom, and they were trying to slip it in and hit his.
Yeah, intercostal rib
inside, and then they just went right past it, and it slid, and it pierced his lung. He's like
he had a
coughing
collapsed
up blood.
lung, had to go to the fucking hospital.
Yeah, he was
They
coughing
killed
up
him.
blood right away,
Yeah,
and then
could've
they had to
killed him.
force Herbert to come in with 15 minutes notice. Wait, if Pterodome's still in the chat real quick, weren't you guys trying to ask him a question about the U?
I think
About
we were just
the coach
about,
the coach that came in and rehabilitated them in like the 2010s?
I think Levi said
I haven't got a shot since my my last surgery.
talking about Bud Dupree.
So
Marcus Dupree.
Marcus Dupree.
Yeah. So what's up, Pterodome? Earlier we were talking about the University of Miami and all their scandals. Who was the coach, Pterodome, after the second, like after the 2010s? If he's still in the chat,
The cleanup guy.
yeah, he would know.
Oh, Pterodome, I was joking how the U leaned in to go into the urban areas around Florida to recruit people that overcome adversity and had harsh conditions. And it led to some of the best players. But of course, that's why the NFL and a lot of teams have legal issues. It's just, man, it's how they grew up. Like, it's hard to break the cycle. Case in point, what was it? We were just talking about him, Melissa, the wide receiver from Cleveland.
Josh Gordon.
Yeah, I always call him Josh Cribbs because
Yeah, he already put it in.
He talked about how he made more money than his rookie contract dealing drugs at Baylor. Like,
Of course.
and it was hard to move away from it because he was used to a certain amount of income for his life.
That's why people sell
Hey,
drugs.
Lawrence, Niner Ganger, don't bang.
It was one of the major reasons.
Hey, Lawrence.
It was like 2 or 3 reasons.
Yo, what's up, Lawrence?
Let's go back up to Steve-O's comment and let's talk about this for a minute. Now, that is talent, buddy. I don't know what else to say. That's talent.
Is that two girls?
Isn't that just a kind of a body shot in a sense?
Wow.
That's a seductive body shot.
Wow.
2 boobs, 1 cup?
Wow.
Spongy.
Now I know what his categories or his algorithm looks like.
There you go.
What's up, Spongy?
Boo.
Nice to see you having
Lowe's
a
right. Them boys
away,
in Florida.
buddy.
South Florida especially.
Yeah, because they
Darn.
practice in 90-degree heat, and when they play the games, it's 100 degrees.
Darn, we have a secret Bears
We
fan.
just broke
Yeah.
a record actually today, and it's fucking.
I just want to just give y'all a daily reminder that the Eagles are Super Bowl champions.
They're not even a top 5 team
Take your
this
victory
year.
lap.
Oh, who has
I forgot
5 though? Who has
remember,
5?
They're not a top 5 team no more.
They're going to be a wild card team if they're lucky.
It's all right.
and
They
who-
just got to go
okay.
6 weeks and let
They
their
only
head
got
coach
they only
shave their
got
head
2
again.
they only
And
got
go
2
on a story.
fingers. We got
No,
5 fingers.
that's after the bye week.
Okay. When's your bye week?
Ooh, I think that's like week 14.
Oh, plenty of time to grow it back out. Perfect.
Our buys week 13 too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
y'all got man.
Actually,
we had
wait.
that last year, and it was
Is our
wonderful,
bye week?
honestly.
Do we have a week?
I think the Eagles buy like week 6 or 7. I
Is it
think.
week 6? Is it week 6?
I think it's week 6 or 7 or 8.
I thought it was 9.
You might be
we
right,
got
Kenny.
6, we got
I don't
9.
know. 6 or 9, maybe?
Oh, of course. It's
No, I
And
think
Kenny-
it's 9.
Never mind. I can't play college football tonight. They won't let me.
Darn.
Now you
So
can
that's-
go to
Let's see.
Delaware.
Levi's
week
looking it up.
9 officially.
Delaware
Oh,
has a nice,
yeah.
easy schedule.
Kenny's right.
Kenny was right. Week
Now,
9.
this is a fact.
That's what
That's
happens when you do
right.
a million
Them
yards.
boys
and then
in
you
Florida are
play
different.
at Green Bay after that. By the way,
Yeah, basically.
you actually that's when you start your NFC North stretch. I should say 3 of your next 4 games are against NFC North opponents.
Our buys like week 14, no, or 13.
14.
Yeah,
Spongy,
14.
I heard this stat
did you?
today about the Eagles. Every time they win, like last time they won the Super Bowl, they came back the year after that and didn't have their offensive coordinator. They did really badly.
Oh, wow.
That's not true.
Yeah, it is true. I
Kenny,
just heard it today.
realize
Week
that
14, and
when they won the
y'all play
Super Bowl in
Tennessee
20
and Indianapolis after. That's great.
When they won the Super Bowl in 2017, Carson Wentz went down again, so Nick Foles had to help them go back to the playoffs, and they were 1 and done because of the kick that bounced off the bar.
Cody Parkey, yeah.
And then
So they didn't do anything.
2019 they missed the playoffs. 2020 was when they had the Nate Sudfeld thing.
So
Yeah, they only won 3 Super Bowls, right?
Can I just, no, 2.
Oh,
can
2.
So losing coordinators has happened to us each of the last like 5 years. So I don't think it's going to be much of a difference.
It's not about losing them; it's about losing them after
Didn't it
having
take
a great
every
season.
time you lost the coordinator the second year to get back? Like the first year's a little rough, but the second year they get it done.
Exactly.
Because when Shane Steichen left, you didn't win right after, but then you won the next year.
What did you say?
But also, we don't know. We
Who's your new offensive coordinator? I forgot. I apologize.
Kevin Patullo, our pass game coordinator from last year.
Patullo.
Super.
He's a nobody, McMahon.
Because the passing game moved to a passing control style. You were not playing your best ball while pushing the ball down the field like constantly. It depends on whether his ego gets in the way or not, and his previous play calling experience.
What I heard is that a lot of the offense is Jalen, so the coordinators really don't matter.
Again, you played, but you won with the ball control. Run the ball and good short passes with the occasional play action deep.
That's what A.J. Brown came out and said. I don't know if he meant to say it, but he said it. He said that it doesn't matter.
Has he ever had any years of play calling experience? As someone that we just went through this last year with Zach Orr, it makes a world of difference. He struggled.
Kevin Patullo?
Yeah. Actual play calling at an NFL level. I'm telling you, if you don't know, that's the thing you need to go research on because
it's because he's Let me check that right now.
Because, like I said, the Ravens did it last year. Zachary Orr, while being a fantastic coach, a fantastic former player, I love him as a person, high energy. Last year was his first year ever actually calling plays for a defense on the NFL, or I think any level. And like I said, there's a reason why they brought in a lot of the old Ravens defensive coordinators, not only during the season, but after the season. Dean Pease fixed our defense. While the Raiders beat us.
The person in the chat, that's why you're a filthy casual.
Oh.
Well, it depends. Like I said, I make that comment about the ego. If they can replicate the offense no matter who's there, in my opinion. It's just whether they get too cute or not and trying to, do the smart thing. Just give it a Barkley.
So, Levi, did McDonald have experience calling plays for you guys before he went to Seattle and had that phenomenal year with your defense?
Yes, he was former linebacker coach. He lost the job to fucking Don Wink Martindale. Pissed at us. He left to go to Michigan to go work with Jim Harbaugh, where he was the defensive coordinator at Michigan, where they played the Ravens defense in Michigan. That's why they were so good in Michigan. And then when, of course, Wink fucking exploded, which we knew was going to happen, they brought him back, and it was like, that's why I knew he was going to leave, because it was like his ultimate triumph. He got to come back, look at John Harbaugh, and like, you fired me, and I put up the best college defense, and then came and put up our best defense we've ever seen, like in 10 years, and then left, sadly. Okay. So it hurt a little.
So this is Kevin Patullo and his coaching history. It all started back in 2007. With the Kansas City Chiefs. He was an offensive assistant coach, offensive quality control coach.
Okay, no play calling there.
2008, same positions.
Okay.
In 2010, so he skipped a year, 2009. Don't know why, he probably got fired. 2010 with the Bills, offensive quality control coach.
Okay.
Same in 2011, sorry. And 2012, he was the
stat
assistant
guy, is what he is.
He was the 2012 the assistant wide receivers coach, offensive quality control coach with the Bills.
He's going to be doing what a book tells him all year.
2014 with Tennessee, assistant wide receivers coach. In 2015 with the Jets, he was the quarterbacks coach. 2016 with the Jets, he was the quarterback coach.
Yikes.
That sometimes is seen. He got demoted because someone said he didn't know enough, so they put him to wide receiver movement. That's what a lot of these coaches do as they're trying to come back up. So that's pretty normal.
Wait, so he was Geno Smith's quarterback coach?
He was trying to tell quarterbacks what to do without understanding the actual position itself,
so
if that makes sense.
2018 and 19 with the Colts, he was the wide receiver coach. 2020 with the Colts, this is under
McNair, I think Terradon's in the building.
So in 2020, under Nick Sirianni, Nick Sirianni was the offensive coordinator in Indy. He was the pass game specialist. and they went 11-5 that year. And then he was with us as an offensive pass game coordinator in 21 and 22.
Oh.
And 23, he was the associate head coach as well as the offensive pass game coordinator. And this year, he was the same.
The problem is when you promote from within, Spongy. That's
I'll be honest.
Pterodome. Sending you love, Pterodome.
I also said
I am
Pterodome earlier.
receiving.
The one thing you could say about a North Carolinian is they
How
will
was he
always
how
show
was
up
he
for a
for?
good tailgate or barbecue.
Yo, I just
Hey,
found out,
gotta have the barbecue, baby.
I just found out in
Mustard style.
South Carolina, you couldn't have interracial marriage until it was vetoed in 1998. Is that fucking true?
I believe it. Yeah.
That's fucking crazy, bro.
You also can beat your wife on the Capitol steps on
Yep.
Sunday. Yeah.
That's where football. That's where football players.
I'm glad you said that. I joked about it. Here's the thing about the untold story: it's legal, but no man is willing to do it because he know any Southerner will get out of their car and intervene real quick.
It doesn't work well.
Real Southerners show up quick.
Damn, crazy.
I got one thing.
But Florida has no Southern hospitality. Fuck this state.
That's been happening.
Some that grew up in the South. Me and my girlfriend joke. They're like, there ain't like nice. There's no nice Southern. Maybe like I think in the middle of the state, there's a couple like in the farmland area where they got cows, but fuck this state.
Yeah, you was talking about Florida though. Florida.
Florida. Yeah, no,
Florida's like a different country sometimes.
And what's crazy? Are you from South Florida? Are you from like Orlando, Disney area?
Are you posh? Or
Florida
are you working
one of the last states
from
that
Duval?
was like civilized.
Yeah, if you're from Duval County, shit, I can't. I gotta keep an eye on you at all times. Like,
And then you got the redneck Riviera over there, Pensacola and stuff, and
oh my god,
which is it's real nice. It's
that's
not named very good, but
southern like hospitality area, Pensacola.
Yeah, I was hearing y'all talk about the turnover with the Philadelphia Eagles. And y'all was talking about the U. There's a coach, and I think he is the best offensive line coach in the National Football League, Jeff Stutland, who was our interim coach and offensive line coach at the U. As long as you keep and maintain that stability with him,
look how much
you can move coordinators in and out. It's very similar to how the Patriots did it for a number of years with a guy named Dante Skornacki. It keeps a balance with that offense. If you keep hiring from within and promoting, they're going to be formidable to deal with. And you've kept the main elements of that great GM they have at Philly, who's picking. I mean, he picking plays. He ain't missing. He really ain't. And they're gonna be formidable. They're not just gonna drop off the map there.
That was the actual stat. Now that you guys are talking about it, it was when after they had a good season but promoted from within in the offensive coordinator position. That's when they struggled.
Well,
doesn't mean it's going to happen this time. I'm just saying that's what.
Another thing I do got to say. This guy.
But he might have been the guy that fixed their offense last year.
This guy Patullo.
Not Kellen Moore.
Well, they were struggling.
He's going to New Orleans,
and
right?
then they changed their offense.
Yeah, he's the head coach.
So, who was the person? Was it Kellen or was it maybe the head coach listening to somebody else a little more?
Well, maybe they should have made that guy the head coach of the Saints then.
They might. Well, he's trying to get. It sounds like the way he's moving from quarterback to wide receiver, he is definitely trying to move up the coaching ladder in a sense.
Yeah, but another thing I do got to say, this guy is
get that extra third round pick. I hate to say it, the Ravens do it all the time.
Oh, hold on. This guy Kevin Patullo, he is from Hillsborough Township, New Jersey. So
I know where Hillsborough is.
I don't know if he grew up as an Eagles fan or a Giants fan or Jets maybe if he was an alcoholic.
Well, I grew up in New Jersey. I'm a Niners fan.
Yeah, well, you're just weird like that.
Well, Melissa,
Jersey and Niners. My brother is diehard Packers in Jersey.
A lot of Niner creators are from Jersey.
See,
that's just weird.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Okay, so I'm from northern Jersey. So
the North Jersey is
no joke.
So North Jersey is either Jets, and you're like an S fan, so you're Jets, Mets, and
Jets.
just a really whiny, bitchy fan. You're a Giants, Yankees fan, or you're from the South, and you're either maybe a Steelers fan because you grew up with the great Steelers teams of the 70s, and it was passed down to you.
Phillies and the Eagles.
You're Philly, or you're like a Cowboys fan because like there's always Cowboy fans sprinkled throughout because of their domination in the 90s
and the 70s.
The thing with the jersey is that
can dominate, but here we go.
The South is mostly just Philly because everyone, for some reason, is just like obsessed with Pennsylvania.
Which because there's nothing to do in South Jersey. Nothing to do in South Jersey, so you go to Philly. You know.
You have Atlantic City. You have Atlantic City. You have
but Atlantic City.
All this crazy shit you can do.
Atlantic City is not in South.
Somebody ruined Atlantic City, and now they're our president. That's all I'll say about that.
Oh, good God.
Anyway,
leave that alone.
Friday, right there.
We had to ban gambling at Myrtle Beach.
Pterodome, it's really, really good to see you. I've missed you.
Good to see
him
Melissa.
anytime. You could see him at Pterodome anytime.
At Pterodome, I've been off the last 3 weeks.
It's different when you see him on Twitter. It's different when you see him in a chat. It's different when you're watching him on his own channel and you're like in the chat or you're watching it afterwards. So to like live react with Pterodome, that I've missed.
Show.
Yeah, I got to live react. Got to keep it quick. Like
George
W. Bush.
We got all the same teams,
like George W. Bush when he was dodging sandals.
Wait,
Tell me what. You know what they say.
Pterodome, I gotta go soon. But I need to ask you a big favor.
Go ahead.
Okay, you are a man of God. You are a man of positivity, and you are one of the most gifted speakers ever that I've ever met.
Wow, that is. You know a lot of speakers too. That's.
So I gotta ask you a big favor.
Not like being the tallest midget. That says a lot.
No. But what I meant is like you're really eloquent with words. You're really good at.
She wants to know if you could say a prayer.
Spreading it between dumbing it down for some people who might not understand things, but not also dumbing it down so much that people feel insulted.
Yes, ma'am.
You're just like a word sleuth. But my favor I wanted to ask you, it's not a prayer, but I wanted you to reach out to Mike.
Okay.
Because right now I think Mike is like at that point where he's kind of fed up with the fan base and a lot of people in the fan base who are being like ultra negative, ultra like jumping on Lenore, how he's going to be suspended for 10 games. And
that's just the people in the chat.
There's a lot of like really bad stuff, and he thinks that he has to kind of move on from what he does and spin things badly to get people to interact with nothing but Niners.
Yeah.
And I think you of all people, you and Miss Debbie are like two of the people who can crack down into his skull faster than anybody and bring that kind of oneness, that appreciation, that specialness that makes him Mike and feel confident about being Mike. And I don't think the rest of us can really do the way that you two do. And that's why I want to ask you that.
Okay.
Because you are a special human being, and you know how much he loves you.
Yeah, man. Mike's my guy. He just has crazy takes, but he means well.
He's not so crazy anymore, though.
Man, that whole Witherspoon thing, he just knew.
Okay, that was years ago. You know how he gets. We all get that way with certain players.
And then he said Joe Budden is the greatest rapper ever. I'm like,
that's why.
I don't even know a Joe Budden song. But yeah, I holler at my boy, man. I holler at my dude. Yeah, I love Mike, man.
Yeah, because he did a podcast like 12 days ago called Enough is Enough, and I found it hilarious because it was like Mike being Mike again.
Yeah.
But I also got the feeling like rewatching it today that I think he's like having a crisis of confidence because it's just I feel like there's just so much negativity. Like sometimes you just need someone to shake you out of that kind of headspace.
But that's what's that's what gets money. Nobody wants to hear you be positive. That's why he's doing it.
Yeah, positive don't sell.
That's why
That's not true.
Yeah,
Teardome, how much fun did you and I used to have with his call-ins and that 24 hours before the Super Bowl?
Oh man, that was great. That was
remember when he had like narcolepsy and then we were doing these Niner shows after dark? And that's where we used to bond all the time.
Like, that was epic. Yeah, 24 hours, man. We were.
Yeah, I was in that too.
Yeah.
You remember all the invasions they used to have in like 2019? Like, I think if you've been in this game long enough, I think we just need to hold on to each other and remind each other, like, just because this might be how you're making a living, or just because things might be a little different now, like, you don't have to lose who you are and become like Grant Cohen, where you're just like doom and gloom, hate, everything's like so bad, or you have to spin things to trick people into liking you still.
Terrible decisions. Okay, they're not gonna win a game.
Yo, their chats are packed.
Orange Gatorade. Oh, it's not gonna work.
You wanna know why Niners fans make
everybody's gonna die.
No, Spongy, don't get there. No, Spongy.
Weird news.
Spongy,
7 hours ago, Fruit
Spongy,
Loops just got bought out.
I am about to leave because right now I'm in a good headspace. My tongue has finally healed completely. My sugar is finally back under normal. I'm past my hypoglycemic seizure, so please don't rain on my parade. I'm more than confident everybody can handle you right now, but
I just want to say, you want to know why all these Niner fans are rich? Because they make money off being negative on YouTube, which is very normal in the Niners fan base.
Yeah,
there's some people.
You're 100% wrong, Wengie. As a person who actually lives in the Bay Area.
I'm not talking about the ones.
John Jay,
I think Spongy is talking about certain content creators just
I don't know.
make a living being nasty and negative and world doomy, and it always seems to get them a lot of attention.
Oh yeah.
And my fear, more than Saleh and his soft zone defense or anything else right now, is that this whole thing is going to corrupt the last few great people who have given a voice to our fan base and to help us through the hard times.
Well, we have to agree that Pee Wee Herman would have been an upgrade from Sorensen.
That's true, but
when the bar is this low.
But Teardome, think about it. Even last year, remember when Ricky got shot and everybody was getting pissed off if you talked about it? You were awful, horrible human being with no soul. But at the same time, if people like took a step back and got off their high horses, you gave us all a place to come to where we could talk, where we could freak out together, where we could learn together.
Whoa.
And you gave us a safe haven and solace in that dark time.
Hold on, Melissa. She said freak out.
Freak out
together. Teardome and Noah, the comments expressed by Kenny.
Okay, I'm sorry if I misspoke or something,
we don't
but
talk about what happens in the dome, boys.
I ain't got nothing to do with Diddy.
But no, I felt really protective of Teardome last year because he did a really
get your freak off.
Genuinely beautiful thing for a lot of people who came in, who needed a real update, who didn't need misinformation. And a lot of people took that offensively, and they came at him and people like him who stood up and weren't taking advantage of it. They were just trying to be there for their fellow fans and their fellow human beings who were wondering what the hell is going on.
It just so happened I was live, and y'all did y'all part too. We're tweeting it live. We were seeing it, in real time. And after I did it, I was like, man, I hope his family knows everything. And I'm not putting it all out there because, we were seeing him getting wheeled out and with the hole in his chest on the right side. And I brought in Dr. Desi, Coach Desi. And, it just fell into place, not from a advantageous standpoint, but it just so happened, you don't get your receiver shot in the middle of the season or in the
that's crazy.
beginning
That's
of the
crazy.
season. That was crazy. That was a crazy.
And they're trying to take his wallets. Come on, you know what I
It wasn't
mean?
meant to be. It wasn't meant to be last year, man. Just too many injuries. Just
Yeah, too many
too much
injuries.
stuff. Sorensen looking like he running moonshine on the weekends.
This is the coach that
It
invented
didn't help
gangster
that they had
rap.
Brandon Staley last year.
Yeah,
Fun fact about Notre Dame, by the way. Has anyone seen that 2026 recruiting class?
Yeah.
Notre Dame is becoming like NFL son U.
Wow.
Jerome Bettis' son.
Okay.
Larry Fitzgerald's son.
All right.
Burris'
Stanford.
All right.
More
Thomas
kids
Davis,
go to,
the
more
like
kids
Hall
go
of
to
Fame
Stanford.
linebacker for the Panthers.
Okay.
And Jermichael Finley, the former tight end from Packers.
So
that's
and
dope,
Levi,
man.
they-
And I
Levi,
feel
they
old
already
too
had-
with seeing everybody.
Yeah, and Sponge
Levi,
is about to say they already had a bunch of kids.
So
Yeah, they already had Kennedy Urlacher.
I want
They
to.
had
I want to say something because I actually can like drive to where Pearsall, whatever happened. A lot of people really pissed the hell out of me last year. Oh, that's a rich area in San Francisco. Well, if you've ever been to Market Street downtown,
yes, sir. Stay down there.
Currently, it's a bit of a ghost town. There's a lot of businesses gone. Now, I'm not going to discuss that because this is not the stream for it. So he was in an area nearby called Montgomery Street. There's a BART system, or our version of the subway system, that goes from the East Bay all the way around the Bay Area.
Oh yeah.
And so that area has I'm not saying it's like Wall Street in New York, but there's a lot of banks. There's a lot of financial stuff that happens over there. Less than 5 minutes.
By the way, Sponge transferred to USC.
Less than 5 minutes away is Tenderloin, where it's like all scary. It's a rough place. It's kind of weird how that area is so congested and packed. And I'm not surprised when it happened. A lot of people are like, oh, but that's a rich area. Well, guess what? It's not what it used to be. And plus, if you've ever been to Tenderloin, it's a gritty, rough area. And if you don't have the stones to go into it, I would not suggest to go in there. And so, yeah. And so it really ticked the hell out of me where a lot of people were talking so much crap who did not live here. And it really did irritate me. And I understand why there are people who are upset. Oh, man, all this negativity. I want to point that out. Go on a map and look how close the financial district of San Francisco and the Tenderloin, super close by. It's congested. Everything's congested in that area. There's like 4 different neighborhoods congested in that area. So I want to get that off my chest because, yeah, there was a lot of misinformation that came out of. And again, I felt bad for the kid. I didn't want him on the team, but as a human being, I felt really horrible that happened to him. And if you've never, ever had an encounter like that, if someone's trying to rob you, they already have bad intentions what they're going to do. I can tell you millions of stories, but I don't want to waste anybody's time. When someone rolls up on you, you better just can whatever and hope for the best that they leave.
They were pulling up.
Yep. So I can tell you,
Jay's right. No matter what kind of training you got, the best thing is just to comply.
Don't just let it go. Be like the king of New York. Just storm the watch.
You ain't sitting on like $5 million unprotected.
Yeah.
Thank you, John Jay, for sharing that.
F the police.
49ers.
And
49ers.
A cop stole my starter jacket when I was 11.
Oh, wow. Why'd he do that?
Because I was selling them in my backyard.
Kenny was being Kenny.
Didn't have a license.
I want to wish you guys a good night. It was nice talking to all of you.
It's nice talking to you, Melissa. Thank you.
Kenny, you weren't selling a starter jacket.
No, I wasn't selling a starter jacket. I was selling starter jackets.
No, because you're saying they shut down the Walgreens.
Come on, Sam.
That's something else. That's something different.
And Levi, I saw what you said in the chat. While he's at a hotel in Miami, why so specific?
No, that's what they said. Apparently, talking about the place that he owns there. I just don't want to say a lot of the words. I'm not trying to get on any watch list for just reporting.
You're already on watch list.
We already are.
I'm already on the watch list.
I want to rebuttal Spongy's accusation that our content creators stir up the pot for money. So
let me go on. Grant Cohn, that other guy. I won't say his name because he'll get mad.
So Grant Cohn who apparently, you know, was and he's stated this many times before, and I'm not trying to take any shots at him. I have no ill will towards the dude. I don't watch his content.
He's a bum.
He had a dad who was big in the Bay Area, you know, sports market,
Lowell.
and his father helped him out get a job, etc. Okay, now besides all of that, you know, all that stuff, the stuff that he says is not reporting. It's not even, you know, it's basically what he wants to say for the day. And there was a moment in time where I would watch the stuff to see how wrong he would get, and eventually it was just a waste of time.
Michael content.
And so the point of the matter is that he's done a really good job, and I do want to give him a round of applause for how he, you know, conducts his channel, and it's been very successful. Unfortunately, if you want to look at real stuff, Spongy, I would go smaller creators because they actually love the team and they want to talk about the team. And so
nothing.
The people who are actually making
got
money,
real jobs.
No, people who actually love the team like I do. I did a pretty decent job growing the channel. I never thought I'd ever get 2,000 subscribers, but I did a really, really good job.
Yeah, that's awesome. I see how hard it is.
And so that's what I want to rebuttal. Now, when it
Here,
comes
I'm
to
stuck
Eagles,
at 106.
when it comes to the Eagles, you guys have EC1.
That's the smart. Like I said, I don't support my fans. I don't support my fan base.
Okay, that's a business model.
I mean, though, I get where he's coming from 1,000%. Like,
but like, okay, the thing we were talking about Notre Dame and all their you know, their recruiting class this year. I mean, they're very well coached. Marcus Freeman, you know,
he did a hell of a job.
He you know, these kids are.
Hell of a job.
The other players were Brian Urlacher's son, Ryan Clark's son.
Yeah, Christian Clark, who actually did get drafted.
Ryan Clark's son's going to Notre Dame.
Yeah, he exhausted his eligibility, I think, last year, is what I was reading. And Urlacher transferred to USC.
He's with
this year?
Yeah, this year. Clark.
Oh wow!
I think Clark.
I would think
Jim Flanagan's son was there, part of that 2025 draft or recruiting
LSU
class.
guy.
There's one other former NFL player.
I was told a lot of athletes' kids go to Stanford.
I think that's one of the better programs to go to.
They do.
Andrew Luck over there is the GM of the program.
Holy shit, I didn't know that.
They do.
Yeah, he's running that football program now.
That's
why I joke that if the NFL expands to London, the fact that he's already running the GM position of Stanford, I think he would be the first GM of the London team.
Well, here's what I heard.
I thought his dad was already over there doing big things.
Well, they used to do football. I don't know if it's like big, but I'm saying if the NFL expanded.
Okay, yeah. He was his dad. He's like Europe.
Yeah,
Before we expand in Europe, I heard we're gonna maybe merge with the CFL.
Yeah, but that's not football like how we played. They play 12 on 11. If
I'm going to make a bad joke because they're going to become the 51st states. But
listen, because they're already set up. They're already set up. They're very close.
Viva Canada.
They have the uniforms. They have the stadiums.
I like how you slid that in there, Levi. That was real
40
cool.
teams would be
I couldn't pass that joke. I couldn't pass that. Viva Canada. Let's make that clear.
So the only thing I would say is that they would have to scrap the CFL and they would basically have to put NFL because
by the way, Marquise and Mike Pouncey's cousin is also in the recruiting.
Pouncey, let's go.
You know what I think we'll see before that? The NFL take on the UFL as just like how the MLB has farm teams.
Well, they could be the
they could
be the minor league team. But I'm thinking
exactly
CFL.
Run minor league style. It gives them more funding in a sense. Like it's the solution. But let's say this. It's like Thanos said. This is the inevitability. This is what will always happen and will happen. But they're fighting their fight and trying to be a competitor. But
also, I don't know if you mentioned, Levi, Devin Fitzgerald, the son of Larry Fitzgerald, is also
yeah, he said that.
It's pretty crazy.
I remember when Fitz. I remember when Fitz was a baby. He was a ball boy for the Minnesota Vikings, and he was out there with Randy Moss and Chris Carter. So now his son's in college.
Yep.
Man, time. Hey, man.
If I disappear, we're getting some South Florida
moving fast.
Filthy casual. What's cracking?
Yeah.
Filthy casual. Canadians will boycott the CFL.
Oh, nobody cares about
They
the
would.
Canadians.
They would.
No,
Calgary Stampeders.
I said
my
this
favorite part of that trade war
It's
is
going to
Crown
come
Royal
down.
dropped
It's
in
going to come
price.
down to owners wanting money. That's all it's going to come down to. So
I said
money.
I said this to
money.
YTC and his friends because they love the USFL. I got a feeling just like what happened to the original USFL, that basically the NFL took a lot of the ideas, and then when the XFL came out, I do think that when they tried NFL Europe and it didn't work for a reason, it was there for a while. It was there for about a decade before it folded. I do think they do want to have an experimental league that they can buy to work certain things that they can implement into the NFL. I don't think they will ever develop players. I just think that it's a way for the NFL to get better. So I said this: in the next 5 to 10 years, if the USFL continues to grow with ticket sales, money, the NFL is going to take that and they'll do like a NFL Europe, but NFL like something where they can like do things with different rules and different things so they can implement it later in the NFL. And I think that will probably make sense because, again, I've said this a million times and no one's ever going to change my mind. The college football is the ultimate minor league for the NFL.
Yes,
look at all the players.
I agree.
Almost everyone that's on an NFL team played at one of the best colleges.
It's because they made a deal a long time ago that you cannot enter the NFL unless you played college or some other type of professional, which wasn't very many other professionals. And then the NFL agreed, unlike the NBA, to force a 2-year minimum on the players so that the colleges could profit more off the kids over the years and not have to go through the recruiting nightmare like college basketball does.
Personally, I think the NFL should buy out the LFL, the Lingerie Football League. I think that would be a very good investment.
Sponge is going through that point in life.
Yeah.
Well,
Sponge
I remember when I discovered
another
League.
Another reason why
Sponsored by Victoria's Secret.
Another reason why is because if you've ever seen an 18-year-old like high schooler or 17-year-old, their bodies are not
not
what a
equipped.
senior. And then you even look at a pro. And so, if you want to try to put a freshman on a college freshman on an NFL team, do you really think that is safe for the kid?
Your frontal lobe ain't even really developed till you're 21 or 20.
I would change that.
Hey, Kenny, did you see? Hold on, I'll tell you what. Go ahead, John.
You got to play 2 seasons. I think that 3 years is a little bit.
And I agree, John. I think it's a great rule.
But again, you don't want to put in. And I played baseball. And there are very few high school players who can play in the MLB, but there's a reason why there's a
farm team, double A,
her
triple A.
bodies are still not like
guys. We don't need that anymore.
Junior. Like if you
Did you see that guy Kenny Corona? Kenny, he's from the Astros. He came from Cuba.
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah, he just started his first game 2 days ago. His name is Kenny Corona.
He only
Kennedy
got to leave Cuba.
Yeah, Kennedy Corona.
So
same thing.
Yeah,
he was starving in Cuba.
Yeah, it's rough over there right now.
Giving incentives,
and that was also another reason why the NFL bought which was the AFC, which was the AFL, because they were poaching their guys.
Oh yeah, that's what I call direct conflict.
And the NFL was like, no, we cannot lose these guys.
They were having the draft. Both teams were selecting players, and then the NFL made some deals to make sure.
So UFL, the UFL is what it is, and it's not at the same time as the NFL. So it's really not that much more. It's not competitive and
we
contrasting like it is
for football.
And also, if you watch a UFL game, you can see that even the practice players on the NFL are way better than those guys. Way better. Like I seen the quarterback throw to a wide open receiver over his head. No NFL GM wants to see that.
I'll never forget when I walked
John,
on to CCU and I played with like the first guy college like that higher level arm strength. It is unfucking believable. Like most kids in high school can't even get fucking close to that velocity.
Those quarterbacks are better than the current Jets starting quarterback. So I don't think
Who's starting for the Jets now?
The Justin
Fields. Justin Fields.
Is Tyrod Taylor there? Or who's
he's also there.
I think you guys are gonna eat your words on that one.
I think Justin Fields will start for the Jets.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you, if I'm the Jets, I'm putting my chips on Fields too. Low cost.
Hey, imagine if he beats Pittsburgh week 1 though.
No, Levi.
Draft because like Sponge knows, there's a lot of them.
Or he was not low cost.
What was he? 3-year, 30?
That'd be funny if Justin Fields beat the Steelers in week 1.
Corona.
I'll look it up, Sponge.
3 years.
Corona, in the words of Spongy's older brother from Florida, who's a Bears fan.
Do you remember
Justin
what
Fields is taking the Jets to the playoffs?
Do you remember
because Sponge, usually there's like a lot of deals where they can get out after.
Do you remember what the Steelers' record was when
there's a way they can get out of that?
I think they were 4-2, right?
Holy shit!
And he can run the ball.
Yeah, they were 4-2.
He signed 6 years, but it's actually only a 2-year deal. Holy shit!
Ooh, Justin Fields?
Yeah. What the
That's
fuck?
crazy.
What? Hold on. So it's an $8 million hit this year. If he's on the roster next year, though, it's a $23 million hit.
Yeah, he's gonna want money because he's gonna do well.
I mean, there's not a terrible amount of like dead money if they cut him like after this year, but
what quarterbacks ever succeed?
But who's gonna go get another quarterback? You know what I mean? To hop him.
They'll only lose like $9 million cap hit in dead money if they cut him after the year. That's not terrible.
Well, they have
and
Aaron
it's spread
Glenn.
over 3 to 4 years.
They're all going to be in the Manning sweepstakes.
And they want more money too.
I think they should do that, Kenny or Levi.
Say what?
Depending on how this year goes record-wise, and if they get a top pick, I think they should find a way to get him out of there.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. It's put up or shut up time for Justin in a sense. Like it's not the best situation for him. I feel like the Steelers would have been a better option.
But he chose.
Yeah, exactly. He's not on a good team.
In the preseason, Justin was caught multiple times blaming his center for snap issues.
Yeah.
Guess who did not have a single other snap issue with the center? And in football, I think Terry will agree with me. You don't, especially as a quarterback, you don't really sit there and point fingers like that, especially in the NFL level. You don't call out your team.
But if he's taking the ball and he's hitting his thigh, you know what I mean? What could a quarterback could do?
Yeah, but you just don't. You don't call your guys out. It's like
exactly.
Jimmy G used to be.
You're right about that.
When it was, it might have been somebody else's
throws
fault,
has he missed?
But Jimmy G will
and be like, my
Jimmy
bad,
G speaks French. We when it's all messed up, but when it's good, he's like, yeah, I. And
you're right. You don't call out your players like that.
He went from French
like,
to
yeah,
Scottish.
we just had offensive issues. That's what you say. Like,
yeah.
Well, it's
and you remember him and Russell Wilson got in a live fight at training camp last year. I had never seen in my 50 years of watching football the number 1 and number 2 fight at training camp.
Oh, right. Oh, it's funny.
It cleared the
I personally think he okay.
But I also feel for the young man. I feel like he's never gotten a real shot, but we don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
But
who drafted him? The Bears?
The Bears.
Justin Fields
who?
Didn't Justin
exactly
beat us?
Bears,
Justin
the Steelers who refused to invest in quarterback.
Yeah, the Bears.
All their wide receivers go nuts, and they refuse to move on for running backs till this year. And now the Jets.
Justin Fields was good enough to beat the
three horrible teams.
I remember.
Pittsburgh's all right.
Chad Schrader call him busting fields.
So I remember.
Yeah, that's what we call him, busting fields.
I remember Spongy's older brother, the Bears fan from Florida, said, "I wanted Mac Jones over Justin Fields," and then one day he's like, "Justin Fields is the next Patrick Mahomes."
Everybody from that class.
I feel like any quarterback that you're like, you can say, oh shit, they check every measurable box. That's the quarterbacks you always have to take a fucking like grain of salt with. Like,
imagine he was on
so enticing.
Imagine if he was on the Niners, like on a good team, and he fails like that. That means he's not that good.
Justin Fields is the next Geno Smith.
I think
he was in that same class with Trey Lance, right? Trey, Mac,
and he's
and
taller.
Wilson, and
I
think Trevor Lawrence went first. You know,
if this doesn't work out,
Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance. What was it after that?
Mac Jones.
I don't think Lawrence was in that class.
Yeah, he
And
was.
we got Mac Jones now.
He went first overall.
He went first.
We got Mac Jones now.
Then the Jets.
Yeah, we
I
got
couldn't
that.
believe Mac Jones was a first round quarterback. His
right.
limitations on his arm is just so significant that he has to throw every throw with anticipation, essentially. And if he doesn't, it's going to be a pick.
Are you talking about Trevor Lawrence? Who are we talking about?
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones.
I personally think,
which is why I thought the Patriots was going to be a great fit for him because they were a systematic.
He started off, Bill Belichick was really excited about him at first, but then it just
he was excited about anticipation. He showed that at Alabama, and then the NFL, he second guessed everything he saw.
Like
he didn't trust nobody.
Is Bill Belichick going to be coaching North Carolina?
Yeah, he's down here. We call it Chapel Bill.
If he does play for the Niners, he don't have no excuses because we got the right players.
I wanted to be a slappy, man. I wanted to be just to get on the staff and hang out. Just
I
be
remember
around Bill.
I remember when 49er fans were arguing about we need Justin Fields, we need Trey Lance, we need Mac Jones. I said that if you want a healthier, less injury-prone Jimmy Garoppolo, and a lot of people who were like, "Oh, Shanahan wants these boring quarterbacks." That was Mac Jones. That was my argument. If you wanted that, but we saw that already.
Jimmy was going to be the quarterback anyway. I wanted Mike Parsons.
Great.
The other argument for Justin Fields is that when it comes to
also Matt Jones had an ego. Like he loves to talk shit, and players have thrown punches at him.
I personally think this isn't the end for Justin if it doesn't work out with the Jets.
This isn't the end.
He's still young.
He'll be Anthony Richardson's next.
He's still young, but also
he's gonna go to the Eagles.
Hold on. I just want to get a word out. I think he can find a way to get a backup job, like he did with the Steelers, on a team that can actually win games. And no, not the Eagles. Please and thank you.
So, and then back to my quick point. And so when I said, the argument for Justin Fields was, Kyle Shanahan had that familiarity with him. But if you watch Ohio State football, Kyle Shanahan does not run a lot of shotgun when Jimmy Garoppolo was there. So I said, well, will he change the offense? Okay. And so one of the reasons why I said Trey Lance was going to be the pick, everyone knew that he was not flashy. He wasn't fast. When he played in North Dakota State, he was the fastest player on the field. But there was a fullback, 2 tight ends, and he was under center, and they would run the ball also a lot in North Dakota State. And so all I was trying to say for a lot of people, for Mac Jones people, if you want the same Jimmy Garoppolo, which a lot of the fan base were already tired of, why would you go that route? People got mad. Oh, Justin Fields is fun, blah, blah. Patrick
he is a better runner than Garoppolo. I forgot about that.
Kyle wants to develop because he felt that he can just end Jimmy's contract while developing a guy. Unfortunately, just like Jimmy always getting hurt, we had to put this kid in. And you can see there was a lot of potential that Trey Lance had. He was so raw. And the NFL speed, when he ran 16 times against the Cardinals, he was extremely slow. And so that was the problem. So when it came to the quarterback draft class, it was overhyped because those were some really good quarterbacks. But the NFL shows you who you are. And a lot of these players, they don't pan out. It sucks. I feel bad for these kids who worked hard. And then they go there, and then 4 years later, they're out of the league. It sucks for them. So I felt bad for them. But at the end of the day, it was a lose-lose situation for the 49ers.
Yeah, none of them panned out. To tell you the truth, I mean, if we have
see
to,
Jimmy G in the second game or in the first game.
If we have to assess right now for that quarterback class, I think it was 2021 or yes, 2021. They nobody really has
They're
hit
backups.
like
that was. I was not.
None of them are
Trevor Lawrence, Zach
team,
Wilson,
exception
Trey
of
Lance,
Trevor.
Fields, and Mac. All garbage.
Yeah.
I even thought Trevor Lawrence was garbage. So my problem with Trevor, I remember watching him get drafted. Even when they showed his highlight clips, who were his wide receivers at Clemson at that time? Clemson at that point was kind of becoming a wide receiver.
Was national champ. Yeah, they were coming
Sammy
off
Watkins,
Deshaun Watkins.
Deshaun.
It was not.
They had like 3 first-round wide receivers, and if you watch the film, his wide receivers were just running by subpar competition. It looked like practice throws out there, and that's when I knew that shit wouldn't translate when he got under heat in the NFL and people brought blitz, and now he struggles with fucking blitz like nobody's business. The rest of the quarterbacks should have never been first-round picks. Zach Wilson was a pretty boy. Trey Lance was just an enticing measurable. Justin Fields the same thing, and Mac Jones, like I said, never had the NFL arm talent.
Trey Lance was never good. Never.
He just had a strong arm.
He had 1 year.
The thing with Mac
Jones.
He was an all measurable guy, is what he was.
Mac
Jones, all strong arm.
That was true.
I agree.
Played 1 year, and we gave 3 first-round picks for a guy who played 1 year.
You know,
that was wild.
The Patriots.
Incredible gamble.
The Patriots have never really had
starting Jimmy Garoppolo,
great first-round draft pick ever since Brady left.
To add the cherry on the sundae,
Damn.
And shout out to Brady. He's supposedly reportedly dating Sofia Vergara. So.
Oh yeah.
Who? TB12.
He joined the Bill Belichick club, dating someone like 40 years younger than him or something.
No,
Sophia, right? Yeah, she's about 36.
She might be older than Tom. I think she's older.
The age don't matter.
Yeah, they right around each other. Man, Sofia Vergara, fine. I am so sorry. They call her Sophia Viagra. Yeah, that's a good looking woman.
And he was also supposedly
age don't matter.
Hey,
I mean,
do what you do. Kudos.
So Bill Belichick is 39 years older than his girlfriend. Okay.
Yeah. Oh well, as long as it's not 40, Dave. He's
a stud. Okay, he's a stud. Like, look, like
it's a lot like speeding. 9, you're fine. 10, you're mine. 39, you're mine. 40.
Yeah, 40. Oh, we gotta think about it.
Not worth a dime.
He gives me something to look forward to one day. He's my hero.
He turns 25. Does he go? You're too old now.
Just watching harem anime all the time.
Right?
Yeah. She get 26. He's like, girl, you get a little age on you now.
Are we talking about Leonardo DiCaprio?
DiCaprio knock him down too, man. DiCaprio,
if they get over 25, he drops them. Every single one of them. He's never had a girlfriend over like 25.
I've never dated a girl over 30. I'm almost 50 years old. Not interested.
Hey, different strokes.
Aging.
Takes different strokes. Takes different strokes.
Oh no, McDiner disappeared.
He's on a date.
He probably got a date.
What
a 25.
The only one that can close the stream's gone.
He said, y'all keep the party going. I got somewhere.
All right, boys. Y'all want to see how fast you can get it?
Yeah, which reminds
That's
me.
the joke on Twitch when someone leaves and they're like, all right, guys, let's see how fast we can get our friend banned on Twitch today. Never would do that.
Twitch. What is this Twitch?
Too.
I'll start. Melania Trump is not a citizen.
Ouch.
Oh, you're cooked, Kenny.
No, that's not going to get us banned. That's going to get us
wife.
Kidnapped over the head style.
As long as you don't say anything to ICE, it's okay.
Well, I mean, if that's true, also isn't JD's Vance's what?
Yeah, that's what I just said.
All right, so my browser's still in a wrestling match. I should probably go. It's about time to end anyway, so I should probably figure this out.
That porn. Okay. It's taking up too much bandwidth.
It's crazy. I'm using one browser, and the other browser's like, "Hey, why are you using that browser? I want." It's like, no.
Browser jealousy on the next Maury Povich.
But yeah, so Bill Belichick's a stud. You know, I honestly, I'm pushing. I'm 48. I can't even get a date with a chick that's above 33.
You don't look 48, Montana. You look younger.
Yeah, you're in that weird.
So, I mean, I like the age of girls I date are pretty much 25 to around 33. That's what I get.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I try talking to a chick that's around 40s, it's like no, she's not interested. It's like it's weird. It's like
that's yucky.
You know.
Good for you.
You got to go to your demographic, and the younger ladies like they like the stability of a older cat, especially somebody who took care of yourself. You finally get a little government money. You finally got the raises at work. You got hey. I did them, as Bill Belichick would say. That's why you lift all them weights.
Hey, when you have all those Super Bowls, it doesn't matter.
That too. Hey, that paper.
Yeah.
It speaks.
You know who doesn't have a prenup though? Travis Hunter.
Damn.
Yeah, but they were together way for a long time before he got.
No, they got together in Colorado, and she actually turned him down at first, and then her friends like, you know who that is, right? And that's when she got together with him, and there's lots of very questionable things she said.
Didn't she have her own money?
No.
Also, during the relationship,
I don't know if you've ever heard the Baller Alert app. NBA guys know about
during the relationship, I think it was during the NBA playoffs of last season, which wasn't very long ago. Supposedly there was a rumor going around that she got with Anthony Edwards, the star for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Girls are like doobies. Girls are like doobies.
Well, she's been like on tape saying she's all about the money and stuff. Doesn't she have literally have money tattoo on her or something like that?
And Travis probably got her that.
I have to say something to Spongy before the stream ends. I was watching the highlights of the Olympics, and your Philadelphia 76er, the Joel Embiid, he was still carried on that USA team to win his first ever trophy.
Well, besides that NBA MVP trophy, he has that. He has an MVP trophy in his house. So
for the NBA, Spongy, he's a former NBA MVP.
Are you talking about the Nickelodeon trophy? I'm just playing.
Best kiss?
I didn't know he made
Philadelphia baseball team.
Yeah, he was the MVP.
What do you think about Aiden coming to the Lakers, Terado?
What's that?
What do you think about Aiden's coming to the Lakers and we signed the other kids?
Hey, we got to make some moves, man. This is gonna be LeBron's. It's winding down for LeBron. He's on the back. He's on the back nine. Get ready to go to the clubhouse. So
when he comes to the team, they typically don't win.
So all those rumors are untrue because I've been hearing a lot of stuff that he's retiring. So I've been lied to.
No, they said LeBron might go to the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, LeBron still got 24 and 12 in him. Even though he's 40 years old, he's still a formidable pro, man. He's still second team All NBA. He's got more in the tank. He does.
So it came out.
I think he got another 3 more years in him.
Better than Jordan.
So
when he came back,
I agree.
It came out about.
Wasn't Jordan retiring from baseball at that point?
Maybe 2 weeks ago.
Trying to play on the Wizards, looking sorry.
So I think maybe 2 weeks ago it came out that the wife of LeBron doesn't want him to play for much longer.
Yeah, audio got leaked of him talking to some other NBA guy.
But then it came out not much later that LeBron was unhappy with the Lakers that they were building around Luka Doncic and not building around him. So he is a little bit salty about that. So that's why there are trade rumors.
I've saw jokes that he might go back to Cleveland again in a trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too. Cleveland or Nuggets.
Nice team.
I don't follow NBA that much because Baltimore doesn't have a team, but I've heard Cleveland's actually got a competitive.
Cleveland's got a very competitive team, and it's the easier path in the East to get to the finals than I would say the West. The West is loaded.
West is exactly. Tear it on.
I've heard that too.
people are
What are the West
already.
teams?
It's like the AFC's loaded in NFL.
It's like California
Hey,
teams.
hey, I got
Who
to
you
go.
got? All right, David's got to roll out, guys.
So
David's rolling out.
everybody, thanks for showing up. Don't forget to subscribe and like and all that stuff YouTubers say.
Yeah, let me do that.
Hit
my like.
We
I
said
already
what's up,
did.
David.
Like we always say. Go ahead.
Fantastic. Hey, we'll see you next week. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your week. And
I'm on tomorrow. I'm on tomorrow at noon Eastern.
That's right.
Me and Wolfie. Y'all check me out.
Okay.
Oh, for sure. Heck yeah.
I actually will get up.
I'll be listening as I'm tearing out equipment.
I'll try.
We don't need
Tear that
anymore.
equipment out.
Still working on
I'll
it.
try to say something to make you mad, and make you rage.
I got a doctor appointment in the morning, so I'll be up.
Yeah, tell the doctor, check me out, man. I'm trying to get these.
Oh yeah, for sure. Heck yeah.
But all right, folks, tune in Terradome tomorrow.
It's always fucked around.
So,
yes.
Tomorrow night we got the newscast on Kenny's channel because we ain't doing it on Fridays no more. It's the weekend, you know.
Okay, we're gonna move it.
So
y'all don't have a USS boner on the weekends.
No, tell the girlfriend I have to bring back Jackbox.
We gotta occasionally do like a Jackbox thing like once in a
I know.
If
I'll
Kenny's
be off
doing his
next
show
weekend, man. Let's if we
Like,
can't get together,
yeah,
I
we'll
miss
have to
it
figure
kicking it with
something out,
y'all, man. Y'all be funny on that thing.
Yeah, the USS boner. That was awesome.
And the dangling stranger.
Right, Corona.
I don't know if you continued to watch, but there was like a whole fleet going on there.
Whoa, really? Oh,
You inspired a fleet, Terado. We literally every week someone made a new USS shirt. We have a whole fleet.
Yes.
And I think at the end I was like, wait, is that a battleship? Is that a cruiser? Destroyer?
Well, the boner's a cruiser.
Okay. Cruiser class. All right.
Makes sense.
Cruising and
All
leaving
right,
them.
all right. So hey, as Corey Davis says, go 49ers and F all 31 other teams.
And the Eagles. And the Eagles.
Especially the Rams. Fuck the
And the
Rams.
Eagles.